So I am here with Don Foster, who is the owner of Recycled Books on the downtown Denton Square. So, Don, can you just briefly describe what the shop is about?
Well, we're a used book, records, CDs, DVD, games, toys, it seems these days, store. We buy from the public. Uh, for the most part, we do get new vinyl in, but otherwise, mostly everything is used from the public one way or another.
Okay, so what is the history of the shop? When did it start out, and when did you kind of enter the picture?
Uh, the store started in 1983 by my ex-wife. She inherited some money. She looked all around the area, even into Arkansas, and decided that Denton was the best spot for her because of the two universities. And it was in a very, very, very small location to start with, extremely small. Uh, and that's when I met her as a customer, and we got married probably, I don't know, a year after she started it, something like that. And we moved the store to a location across from TWU, an area that had been dead for many years. It was a hub of the university for a while. Where we went in was a major soda shop at one time. And I'd lived here all my life and had never seen a successful bookstore and was worried about that location. And once we got in there, business did start happening, and then we filled that storefront up, and the business next to us moved or went out of business. Had the same landlord. It's all one interconnected building with 4 different storefronts, and so we rented that, punched a hole in the wall and went into there. And when we did that, it was amazing. While we were trying to get it going, some of the most amazing books I'd ever seen. I didn't realize it didn't have this kind of books in it. We were buying art books like mad, just all kinds of quality things. And so that's when it really, really took off, and that's when we started hiring employees at that point. And then we filled that up, and the business next to us again moved or went out of business, so we punched a hole into the third wall and went into there. And people really liked it during those days because they called it like a maze, because every section had its own little room. And but we filled that up, and this building on the square came available in 1990. Same landlord at that point, and he was a very reasonable man, and so we moved up here. Everything fit in the front part of the building, nothing upstairs, nothing downstairs, nothing in the back. And it's just gone from there ever since then.
So you grew up in Denton, and this store has been here for almost 30 years now on the square.
We're in our 36th year.
So how, from your perspective, how has Denton and the square specifically kind of changed in the time that you've been here?
Obviously it's changed dramatically. The whole area, of course, has changed dramatically with the growth. The square at one time was not exactly dead, but it wasn't the hub that it is now. There used to be, for instance, a newsstand on the square, which is really nice. You could get magazines and all. And then, you've got all the used places and all. But most of the old stores that were on the square went away. And when the square got rebuilt, we felt like we were a major part of that rebuilding. People could build around us. Then things changed dramatically, and now then, I guess with North Texas doing away with pretty much Fry Street and that area and putting up businesses and apartments and all that, all the students gravitated toward the square. And not just the students now, it seems like the entire town gravitates toward the square, particularly at night and on the weekends. So dramatic changes for sure.
And another thing that change from when you first got into this business is the addition of online shopping being an option for so many people.
Right.
When you first started,
Right.
that was not even an idea at that
No,
point. But
no.
now that's such a fixation of
Right.
retail business in general.
Yeah.
So how is Recycled kind of adapted to use that effectively?
Well, we could see it coming, of course, and so we dipped our toes in the water and started putting things online, and it did so well for us that we expanded all of that. We have a separate building for all the online stuff, and it's almost like its own store. If we if we opened it up, it'd be a store unto itself. There's so much stuff in there. So yeah, big change.
So what do you see kind of the future holding for this shop? Obviously, you are going to own it for the foreseeable future, but are there any big changes that you have in mind for the store? Do you think it's going to kind of just stay the same because it's doing good as it is right now?
See, it's hard to prognosticate. People have been predicting the decline of the book forever. They predicted the decline of the album also. It happened briefly and then came back. People still seem to love having physical books and records and CDs and DVDs in their hands. Fortunately, there's plenty of those out there. The concern is, I would say, the younger people coming up who perhaps have had no life but online experiences, and maybe that will affect the future. It's hard to say. But you hear a lot of middle-aged people saying, I get all my books online, all that kind of thing. So fortunately, there's enough of us out there who refuse to be ruled by our devices. So yeah.
All right. Well, thank you, Don, for taking the time to talk to me, and we'll best of luck in your business going forward.
Well, let me just say that, one, the business couldn't happen without great customers. You have to have customers. Our customers come from all over, not just Denton, but the Metroplex, from Austin, from other states. Couldn't do it without them. I mean, if you're going to buy great stuff, you got to have great people to sell it to. And second of all, couldn't do it without great employees. Our employees are really, really strong, wonderful. Customers love them, and there's some real personalities here. So that's always helps. It's certainly not me. Yeah, it's a combination of all those things.
All right. Well, thank you, Don.
Thank you.